Never had a carafe of wine.
Don't mind a little carafe.
Well, you have a carafe to yourself?
A small one, I'd have one, yeah.
Oh, you have tiny glasses over there, don't you?
Tiny everything. Tiny plates. Tiny knives and forks.
They're not.
Do you have to buy a tiny bike? Welcome. We are Neil,
Luke,
And Dave.
340-somethings, reminiscing on the runners and riders of 90s guitar music.
we look at the bands who soundtracked our youth on both sides of the pond and interview some of our heroes from the bands that defined a generation.
You'll hear about the good, the bad, and the ugly of 90s guitar music.
This podcast is Stupid and Contagious. Episode 29, Stupid Contagious podcast. 29. It's nearly 30, right?
Some say.
Dave's disagreeing.
Well, he just doesn't know. He's not a numbers guy.
It's Wang number 6, I believe. We had a bit of a discussion. We thought we'd try something a bit different this week. We're going to take an album and we're just going to dissect it, right? Tear it apart. So the album that we've chosen to focus on is Definitely Maybe. Indeed, there it is. We'll get into that in a minute. If you are watching, then please do give it a thumbs up. Comment below. Let us know about your favourite Definitely Maybe songs, etc. If you're listening, rate, review. Please do that because it really does help us out in people finding the podcast. So if you took the time to do that, we'd really appreciate it. Anyway, before we get into the episode, what's everyone been up to this week? Dave?
We had a bit of a ticket to ride binge. Have you played that game? It's a board game.
You
Don't know.
love
It's
board
really
games, don't you?
Really good board
You love
game.
just
Yeah.
board games.
We
Still
played it
What's the
4
premise?
times. You just you have a map of the US on the board, and you're trying to create trains across America from different cities to other cities.
Fucking
And,
hell, that sounds
It's
shit.
nothing to do with the Beatles.
Sounds really shit.
That's brilliant. It's a great game. Over 3 million copies sold, it says on the box.
I do like the fact that you still play board games, though. I think that's good. Do you play them with the whole family?
Well, 3 games. It was Alice only.
You don't have to have a breakdown of every game, but just say, do you generally
she-
play them with the family?
Well, I'm going to give you a breakdown. She won every
Oh,
game.
okay.
And then Elias played a game, and he won that. So it's a good game because you still enjoy it, even if you lose.
Oh.
You don't. You hate
It's
losing.
a
No, I
taking
hate
part that
losing, yeah.
counts, isn't it? You do. You're really competitive, aren't you?
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
but
why we
you
kept
fucking
playing,
hate it.
because I wanted to play again, so I could win.
Yeah. That explains it.
Yeah, Luke, what have you been up to this week?
Finishing doing up this room, listening to lots of music, as usual. Listening to a band
What?
called The Chisel. Band called The Chisel, second album I've been enjoying. They're kind of like kind of oi punk, I guess. Kind of sound to them. Really good. Really enjoying that record this week. How about you, Neil? If you started anything on the van
Not yet.
van
Not
update?
yet, no. We're going to start that this week, I think.
What's first?
I got to fix any minor rust on the outside. My TikTok's been inundated with Taylor Swift clips. That concert's just massive. It's like it's taken on a life of its own, hasn't it?
I keep getting an ad from Marty Pello. On Twitter.
Is it for Marty's Pillows? Is it for
Yeah.
Marty's Pillows?
The thing is, man, they fucking got you nailed. That's
I know.
exactly the kind of music you like.
But that's how I got that Tundi and Gabrielle ad.
Of course it
That
is. You're
must
the-
have been a result
Of
of
course
some
it is. They
algorithm.
know you, man.
It's working for you, man. They're giving you exactly what you want. Pearl Jam have had an interesting week. I've spoken about it a bit in the Facebook group. I think they're number 1 in the Billboard charts.
Stop tapping your arm, Neil. It looks like you're about to inject some heroin.
Maybe I am.
Yeah.
Do what I fucking like.
I think it's for their Dark Matter single, which I thought was really
Right,
good.
okay. Yeah, I did. But yeah, what I brought up on the group was their ticket prices. It's become a bit of a thing this week. And I think it's mainly down to their highly publicised sort of fight with Ticketmaster in the 90s. It just all seems a bit of nonsense now, doesn't it? when their tickets are 160 quid.
But you can't blame them for the price of their tickets, really, can you? If you sell tickets below what the market will pay, touts will just make a killing, won't they?
But Dave, you love money, don't you? You're the wrong person to ask.
Right, what does Luke think?
Well, yeah, things can be done about it. Like Robert Smith from The Cure recently, he used his his position as, you know, one of the most popular kind of touring bands around to make sure the prices were lower. So they do have the power. The fact that they're not exercising it is, I don't know how easy it is to do that, but they do have some power.
I think a lot of venues have bigger overheads than they used to have, like much bigger overheads than they used to have. So,
but still, 160 is way above the market price. Yeah. So it's not the market price.
I mean, I wouldn't pay it. I don't think I'd pay more than 50 quid for a ticket. Yeah, I don't know if your tickets are sort of 160 quid. I don't know if you're sort of killing off an entire demographic of your audience, aren't you, really, that can't afford to go. I think that's what's happened with Glastonbury a little bit. That's why it's like it's a weekend for rich kids now a lot of the time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it's not good, man. It's not on.
Yeah, I just don't think they've done themselves any favours. Like, they'd have been better off either not having that fight with Ticketmaster in the first place, or just coming out and saying,
"Oh, I don't know." I think they totally meant that, and you know, they basically lost. They fought their hardest, and they lost a lot of money, and they basically, you know, capitalism won in the end. And I think, I don't know, have they made any statements about it? Because people are pissed off, right?
I don't think they have. Should we get into this week's episode?
Sure.
Right. So we're going to talk about Definitely Maybe. Dave came up with the idea of doing Definitely Maybe, but it's a good time to do it because it's the 30th anniversary this year. Liam's taking it on tour, isn't
he? First of all, what's the genre?
Britpop,
indie rock, rock and roll. Oasis came to basically equal Britpop, didn't they? After this, basically. So yeah, I put first of all I put rock and roll, and then I put Britpop. Released 29th of August 1994. I don't know, that's in the UK at least. Don't know about other places. Became the fastest selling UK debut album of all time at that time.
I specifically remember the first time I heard the album was I think it was in Rebecca's car. And I think it was me, you and Louise in Becca's car. Someone had it on cassette. I don't know if it was you. It might have been Louise, actually. I'm not sure.
No, I didn't have it on cassette. I had CD.
I think it was Louise, and it was blasting out in Becca's car. And I think that's the first time I heard the actual album. I'd heard, obviously heard the singles and stuff, but I think that was the first time I heard the album. Dave, you weren't there.
No, but it was brilliant. Brilliant, wasn't it? When it first came out, it was just like so new.
Yeah, it was. It was exciting. 4 singles were released from it. So all of them in 94. So that was like the big year, right? So Supersonic came out in April, got to number 31. Shaker Maker came out in June, got to number 11. Live Forever in August, got to number 10. Cigarettes and Alcohol in October, got to number 7. So basically they were kind of building up.
Good start, isn't it? That's a good start.
It's all right, isn't it?
So originally they booked Manor Valley Studio near Rockfield in 1993 to record the Definitely
in Wales.
Album. Yeah, that's right, yeah. Worked with producer Dave Batchelor, who Noel Gallagher knew from his time as his roadie with the Inspirals. But yeah, they weren't happy with those sessions at all, and he was subsequently fired.
Yeah, and they scrapped the whole lot.
Did. So in January 1994, the group set about to re-record the album at Sawmill Studio in Cornwall. Sessions were produced by Noel alongside Mark Coyle. The results still unsatisfactory. So in desperation, they contacted engineer and producer Owen Morris. I think he did a lot of their live sound at the time. I believe that's not in this, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on that one. And he eventually worked on mixing the album at Johnny Marr's studio in Manchester, which I didn't know till I read that bit. It wasn't one of those albums that just was easy to record. I think it's similar to Nevermind. They had a similar story, didn't they, with Nevermind? They recorded that and they didn't like the sound of it.
Yeah, yeah. And I think what Owen Morris kind of brought to it is he cut out all the kind of unnecessary layers. I think Noah wanted to do like loads and loads of layers of guitars and shit like that.
Yeah.
And he was just cut all that out and just made it as bombastic as
Yeah, it's just
possible.
like a live recording pretty much, isn't it?
Well, that's how they recorded it the second time. But he claims to have invented something called brick walling. Did you read about that?
Just like a wall of sound, is it?
Yeah, some kind of box or something that it basically it pushes the volume to the limit of what a CD can handle before it kind of goes fucked, basically.
Right.
And so it just sounds loud. That's it. It's just like much louder than any other album around at that time, you know. And I think you just cut out all the extraneous kind of nonsense and just made like an immediate rock and roll album, you know, which is what it is.
So the NME conducted a readers' poll in which Definitely Maybe was voted the greatest album of all time. That's pretty good, isn't it?
When was that?
Don't know when that was, Dave.
I think it's later. I think it was like mid-2000s.
So, Dave, when did you first hear Definitely Maybe?
I think it's probably in the common room. It's very little music that I listen to and like straight away.
Your hair is fucking mental.
I know, I apologise for it. I just hope no one's watching and they're just listening.
You look like a crazed professor or something. Carry on.
Yeah, I didn't get it until I got it for Christmas, but on cassette.
Here's a fun fact. I don't think I've ever owned it.
Oh, wow.
You don't really need it, do you?
No, but that's the thing, isn't it? It's just everywhere, isn't it?
I did a post on it a while ago. I bought it on vinyl a few months ago. I'd never had it on vinyl before. And there's an extra song on that's not on the CD or the cassette version called Sad Song.
Oh, it's a great song.
I was like, did I just like skip it every time back in the day? And I couldn't understand why I didn't know it.
It's not on their track listing on Wikipedia, so I don't think it is on the original.
No, it's only on. I looked it up after I bought it because I couldn't understand it. Apparently, it was on the Japanese version and it was on the vinyl version.
When I first heard Definitely Maybe, you forget how different it was at the time, I think.
But was it different, right? I mean, I wrote it down, but I'm not the first person to say it. But I wrote down Beatles plus T-Rex plus the Sex Pistols plus the Stone Roses equals Oasis. So, I mean, it was new, but it was derivative of all of those, right?
Yeah, but it's not so much it was totally new, but from what we'd been listening to at the time, you had grunge, shoegaze, all this like really depressing, kill yourself music. And then they come along
bands
with
like Suede.
Yeah,
being
they
kind
came
of
along
artsy and clever.
Yeah, then they came along with this fresh, out and out, ballsy rock and roll. Let's love life, do drugs, and just have a great time. It was really fresh.
It kind of took guitar music to the masses, right?
Oh yeah,
guitar music, indie music. It's basically a middle class thing, right? And they kind of took it to the masses, and it was great. Apparently, like Creation Records, which of course they were signed to, they were basically like fucked at this point, and they were about to go out of business, and they were like £2 million in debt, and they were fucked.
Right?
So they didn't have any, and they didn't have any money to promote it. So they kind of. They apparently they were, instead of like advertising in like whatever Q magazine, whatever, the usual stuff, they advertised in like Shoot and Match and like Manchester City, like and like Manchester City like game programs and like also like Mix Mag and Jockey Slut and these like dance mags, because these are the kind of, this is what working class guys, I guess, buy, right? And it totally worked, right? And I think that was part of that kind of alternative kind of advertising campaign that Creation did, which is out of necessity rather than by design.
But how did it reach us then? I mean,
it reached everybody, didn't it? That's the thing.
Well, finally it reached everyone, right?
Yeah. I think their appearance on The Words was quite pivotal in getting it out to people like us, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, when he was on The Word with his little fucking camera and stuff, looking cool as fuck. You're like, what the fuck is this? I even remember that, like before I'd even heard any music, I just remember watching that, and there's something different about it, about him. He's just like, fuck, that's cool. Or is he just really arrogant, or is that cool, or a bit of both? Before we go through track by track, I got the track listed up, and what I instantly realised is I didn't really need to do much research. You go and re-listen to tracks because you fucking know them all, don't you? From start to finish, pretty much. And there's not many albums that you can say that about, I don't think.
Same with Beatles songs, right? I don't remember acting.
I hate the Beatles.
But you know them. You might not have even actively listened to them, but you know them. You know the lyrics.
I don't know.
They're like,
what's their most famous album? Rubber Soul.
I wouldn't say that.
Probably
Sgt. Pepper's their most famous album. Yeah.
I don't think if you gave me one of the famous Beatles albums, I don't think I'd know all the songs on it.
No, you wouldn't, but
I know what you mean.
Singles, right? You know singles, right? They're
single. Thing about this album is even the ones that aren't singles, you still know, which is what sets it aside, I think, and makes it one of those albums. So Rock and Roll Star, number 1.
Sets the tone, right?
It is what it is, isn't it?
So, I mean, it's just telling the kids to live their life as if they're a rock star every day, right? It's a great positive message,
I think it instantly introduces you to the band's sort of mantra. This is what we are, and this is what we believe in. But it's just a great fucking song as well, isn't it?
It's rock and roll,
as he says at the end many times.
Yeah,
it's
just rock and roll.
I don't know if there's much more we can say about that song, really.
It's just a good statement of intent, right? And it totally works. It's great.
Yeah. We go on to number 2, Shaker Maker, which I have to say is my least favourite track on the album. Might be controversial, but that's what I'm saying.
Didn't they get sued for this one?
Yeah, I'd like to teach the world to sing.
I'm not sure. Did they ever get done for it? Don't know.
I don't think they did. No.
I don't think they did.
And Noel's always said that he'll never sue anyone for ripping them off because he can't really say anything when he's ripped off so much,
Yeah, and he doesn't care. He's been open about it, hasn't he? He said, "Yeah, I find bits from songs I like it, and I think I can write a better song than that with using those elements." So he don't care.
Well, Dave, you said at the beginning there wasn't many lyrics to take the piss out of. Shaker Maker's pretty fucking poor, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's not pretentious either. It's not like he's trying to say anything. He just can't even be asked, and it just comes out with some words that rhyme quite well. He's good at rhymes, but
I guess that's the beauty of it, isn't it?
But I don't know. I think that kind of evokes kind of a nostalgia for childhood, doesn't it? It's got those references.
Yeah,
to
Mr. Soft.
Things.
Yeah, Mr.
Remember
Soft.
that advert?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Who's Mr. Clean though?
Not you. Not in that fucking jerkin.
Well, there's a documentary about it, and he says like that kind of Mr. Sifter. That's a record shop, right? Mr. Sifter sold me songs when I was just 16. So apparently they were driving past it on the way to the studio in Manchester to record the song, and they realised it didn't have a last verse. So they just drove past that and they said, "Oh, that'll do."
But I like that. I do like that. I like the way, a lot of bands go really fucking deep into their lyrics, don't they? Blah, blah, blah. I like the fact that he's never shied away from the fact that So Sally and stuff can wait. It's not about anyone, It's just, I think he just found a name that sounded good in the song.
It probably does mean something. He just doesn't even know. It's going deeper into his subconscious.
Some songs
he was even aware of.
I'm not saying all his songs are like that. I watched a documentary last week, actually. It was a really good documentary. I can't remember what it was. It was just him being interviewed. It wasn't a documentary, it was just him being interviewed. His newer stuff in the Flying Birds and stuff, and how it's nothing like Oasis. The songs have got more depth and stuff, but that's just the way he was writing now. But back then, it was a bit more, I don't know, work though, didn't it?
So you don't like it, Dave? I like Shaker Maker. I like it.
No, I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't.
You're the one that doesn't like it. No, I like it.
I don't even not like it, but it's my least favourite on the album.
It's weak. Yeah, it's weaker. All right. Number 3, the big one.
It's the one. Live Forever, by the way. That was the one for me. It was the first one that really sort of made me think, fucking hell, this song's incredible.
Yeah. Well, Noel always says it's the song that made him realise he was a songwriter.
Yeah.
He said he wrote it, brought it to rehearsals, and they said, who's that? And he said, I just wrote it today. And they're like, fuck off. You didn't just write that. Just wrote it.
Yeah, because Liam and the others were already in a band, right? And then he came along and gave them the songs. Isn't that right? Or
That's
was it
right.
who was in Rain? Was it all of them?
Bonehead.
except for-
It was
Bonehead Liam.
everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you heard any of their stuff from the Rain? Some of it's all right. It just sounds a bit like Stone Roses-y. Colour My Life's quite a good song.
Yeah, that's the one that sticks in my brain as well. Colour My Life. That's a good track.
Can you imagine being Noel sitting at home, whatever, with his guitar coming up with these songs, and he's just sitting there knowing how good they are?
Did he though? Did he know?
Well,
he
I
must
think
have
he
known.
did. I think he did. And there's stuff in this. I've been rereading this book, The Last Party,
Right.
Britpop Blair and the Demise of English Rock, and they kind of talk about that a bit in there. Like Noel kind of claims he was kind of doing it all off the cuff and stuff, but they reckon he'd kind of been like squirreling away for the last 5 years, just building up this huge bank of some amazing, some rubbish songs, and just kind of picking and choosing and just making himself an amazing songwriter, right? And,
I mean, his experience with the Inspirals must have really sort of helped him out in that respect.
Well, that must have made him know that he had something, because he was working with a good band. He had something.
He knew he was better.
With. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it must have given him an insight into the record industry and all that sort of thing as well, which is a really good grounding to have when you're starting a band, I guess, isn't it? But to walk into a ready-made band with your brother in it and say, I think he basically said, I'll join the band as long as I can write all the songs. I think that was the deal.
It's great. I mean, that was their big crossover, right? First top 10 hit, and many people's favourite Oasis song. I'd say. Oh, it's Liam's favourite Oasis song, apparently.
It's one of mine.
Same. I put it at number 2.
How can it not be, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, I like it, but it's not my number one.
When they did that performance at Main Road and he's sort of bowing in front of John Lennon, it's a really moving moment.
Oh man, do you see it when Liam did it at the One Love Manchester concert? Have you ever seen that?
Again,
that's oh man, talking about emotional moving, that's full on, right? That's amazing.
Right, number 4, Up in the Sky. Interesting on this one. There's a lot of rhyming couplets in that song. There's a lot of rhymes in it, isn't there? It's quite, the lyrics are quite, I'd say, quite juvenile. It's just got that constant riff all the way through it. It's I don't know, it's a great song.
I think isn't it about like I made notes about this. I saw it. Isn't it about like elites and shit? No, isn't it having a go at elites?
The
elitists.
They
know. Well, maybe. Like the elites that think they know what's good for everyone, but they're fucking idiots. Isn't that what it's about?
That sounds about right.
Let's say it's that.
Let's just go with that.
Hey, you up in the sky, learning to
maybe
people that think they're above other people, but are actually fucking clueless.
It's a really hard thing to say, but maybe one of the most forgettable songs on the album. But
apparently, it was originally. I found my notes now. Apparently, it was originally kind of a bit more psychedelic-y, kind of Beatles-y, and it got kind of cut down and made a bit more punchy. And yeah, apparently, it's about elites thinking they're better than other people, but being
that gives it more.
And you want to be me. Is like,
exactly. Yeah.
Like common people.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think about it as a song?
I agree with you. It's one of the. It's not really a filler, but it's one of the lesser tracks, I'd say.
Yeah. I think so. I think most people would probably agree.
I like it. I like the psychedelic-y side to it. I like it.
Yeah. Number 5, Columbia. I love Columbia. Fucking
great,
I
like this one as well.
See, I always say if Oasis do reform, I would love to see the early lineup with Bonehead and Giggsy. I think the beauty of early Oasis, Bonehead didn't give a shit about being like the lead guitarist or anything. He was happy to just play the bar chords, but that's why the songs sound so big, because all he's doing in most of the songs is just playing these huge bar chords, and so they could basically do what they did on the album. They could do that live, and then when they sort of got in the newer members like Gem and all these people that are intricate guitarists and stuff, that's when the sound kind of changed and went a bit wanky, I think. But the early Oasis, when it's just ballsy sort of bar chord rock and roll,
Baldy.
is yeah, oh yeah, it was. But I love all that. I think this the beauty of it is in the simplicity of the songs, and that rawness all went when they got the new members in. I think that's my take on it anyway. But the Columbia, for me, that's a prime example of that, basically.
So you're saying it's better to have ugly band members?
No, I didn't say that.
That's what you're saying, isn't it? That's what you're saying. If you got like a middle-aged bald bloke who doesn't mind about being, tucked away at the side of the stage, not being centre of attention, then he's not going to worry about, having the limelight stolen. When you get the pretty boys in, you like Gem and everyone, then they want to preen and strut. That's what you're saying. I think it's a good theory.
Listen,
I'm with you, man. I'm supporting you. It's a good theory.
No, I'm just saying sometimes you can have a band
too many
with
good-looking people.
Stop saying that. You can have too many egos.
I'm with you. I'm agreeing with you, man. I'm agreeing.
Too many egos, maybe, That's the thing, like the later Oasis albums, it wasn't just Noel writing them, was it? It was, everyone had a little bit. They did a little song or something. It's not Oasis then, is it?
I prefer my theory.
Fucking Heavy Stereo is so shit.
What was their big hit, Heavy Stereo? I'm trying to remember.
Fucking hell. I bet he couldn't believe his luck when he got asked to do the Oasis thing. The same with Tony McCarroll, I guess. He wasn't the most like, he just played a driving groove, didn't he? Worked for that album for sure. But Columbia, I think, epitomises sort of the early Oasis. Just, balls out, rock and roll sort of thing. Great song.
Started off as an instrumental, apparently.
Yeah, I like all the scratchy guitars at the start, all the distorted guitars before it kicks in.
Yeah, I like that one. Quite an anthemic one, really. I like looking at it sort of pounding and quite relentless. Quite like that.
Number 6, Supersonic, started it all off, didn't it?
Give me gin and tonic.
For us, definitely the Word performance, iconic performance on the Word.
Interestingly, according to the there's a kind of a short documentary about the album. According to the documentary, they were trying to record Bring It On Down, the next track, and Tony McCarroll was too shit. He couldn't do it. So they were waiting for him to try to do it. So Noel was like, oh, fucking hell, we can't not do anything. I better go and write a song. So he just went to the back of the studio, wrote the song in half an hour, and that was it.
Oh, really?
And they recorded it. Yeah, and they recorded it that day, and that was it. And that was the version they used.
See, I believe that. I just think that's probably true, isn't it? I guess that's why in the end they had to get rid of him, because I guess that's frustrating when you're sitting in a studio. And I remember when we did the Main Street recordings, I'm not a very good guitarist at all. I literally just learnt the guitar to be in that band. I was rhythm guitar at best. So when we were in the recording studio, my bits, Vince was just much better at playing them. So frustratingly, I used to go in first and sort of try and do it. And then he'd just go in there and bang them out. If I'd have been like one of these ego people, I could have just sat there for hours getting everyone to wait for me to try and play this one bit.
So are you not on the album then, Neil?
Yeah, I am. But there were certain bits that it just would have been taken so much longer for me to do that it just didn't make any sense. You could just go in there and play it straight away. So, but yeah, it must be frustrating if you're in a band and the drummer is not giving you what you want, sort of thing. I think it happens quite a lot because drumming's really hard. Drumming's just really, really hard, but it's the most important bit. If you haven't got a good drum take, then the song's going to be shit. I think it was John Lennon, who I've always thought was a bit of a cunt. That's just the way I think of it.
John Lennon. I mean, the whole kind of wife beating stuff is not very good, is it?
I just thought he was a bit of a dick, but they once said to him,
He's
didn't
not a
they?
bit of a dick. He's a fucking wife-beating cunt.
Well, I don't like him either, so I'm not going to disagree with you. I think, was it him that was asked if Ringo was the best drummer in the world, and he said he's not even the best drummer in the Beatles. That was him, I think.
I mean, it completely wasn't true, but it was a good line.
No, he's a great drummer, Ringo, yeah.
Yeah.
Just a cunty thing to say.
It's quite good, though. It's good.
Yeah.
But even like before he joined the Beatles, like he was known as like the best drummer in Liverpool, basically, Ringo.
Who, Ringo,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, he had like a reputation like preceded him. And the Beatles were the best band. He was the best drummer that wasn't in them. So it was just natural that the best drummer in Liverpool was going to join the best band in Liverpool, right? So.
Best train voiceover as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Supersonic, yeah, great song. I don't know if there's much else to say about it.
Except for I know a girl called Elsa. She's into Alka-Seltzer. Elsa was a dog.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. That kept
What does
farting.
that mean? What does the Alka-Seltzer do?
Stop the farts.
Does it?
I don't know.
You can't feed a dog. How do you feed a dog Alka-Seltzer?
It's a fucking song, man. It doesn't really do it.
I'm going into the lyrics. Thought we were going into a deep dive.
No. There was a dog someone had that was called Elsa that kept farting. They just stuck it in the song. That's as deep as it goes, man. It's Noel Gallagher, man.
But it
I
wasn't.
think seltzer just rhymes with Elsa. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good at rhyming couplets, that's for sure. Number 7, Bring It On Down. It's a banger. What a banger. I've put here, what a banger.
I mean, it sounds exactly like a Sex Pistols song, right? Which
Which
you wouldn't
one?
know because you don't listen to the fucking Sex Pistols, do you?
Well, they've only done one album, really, haven't they? Sex Pistols.
Oasis only did one good one.
Well,
Ooh. 1.5.
I like it. Again, the Bring It On Down, it starts with those distorted guitars, Tony Carroll's counting. It's just a live. That's the live take in the studio, I guess. And if you compare this to sort of bands like Ride and stuff that were about the time, that were just quite depressing. This one's just like, come on. And I love that. It's got that famous line, "You're the uninvited guest that stays to the end." Like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one, right? But also, talking about the underclass and the outcasts, it's all that kind of,
But you don't care because
appeal.
you live in France. That's it, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's better. That's totally better.
Someone posh who's gone to live in France.
Yeah, you
Exactly. They don't care, do they? That's so much better, man.
You mean that's not the lyric?
No, it's good. It is now.
Yeah, it is a lyric. Yeah. We're not going to even correct you. That's just the lyrics. Great song, isn't it? Great
It's
song.
really, really good. Yeah, it's one of the best on the album, I reckon.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And then followed up by Cigarettes and Alcohol. It's what it is, isn't it? It's a bit like Rock and Roll Star, isn't it? It's just...
I've always found this song quite annoying. It's one of my least favourite track on the album.
Yeah, I'd tend to agree. It's not one of my favourites, Cigarettes and Alcohol, don't think.
I think the riff in it is very unoriginal, but I can't actually think where it's lifted
T-Rex,
from.
Get It On.
Oh, yeah, that's
T-Rex.
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
the same, isn't it?
Yeah. But come on, you could wait for a lifetime to spend days in the sun, shine. You might as well do the White Line. What the fuck, man? That's incredible shit. And get into the top 10 of the charts. You're on top of the pops. Saying, hey, kids, do coke. What more can you want, man?
Dave's probably been listening to different lyrics than you have.
That's true. That's true.
I just thought they were talking about making white lines on a football pitch or something. Similar time, Robbie Fowler was doing those, wasn't he? Doing the football white lines.
And when he did his infamous
he got into trouble.
celebration.
Yeah,
It's good, that one,
sniffing the white lines.
Oh, yeah. That Robbie Fowler. That's funny.
Brilliant.
That's good. That is
He
good.
got in loads of trouble for that, didn't he? Yeah, so Cigarettes and Alcohol. Yeah, it's not one of my favourites, I have to say.
It's an anthem to youth hedonism and, living for the weekend and all of that. It's great.
Dixie's, this is true. You're not going to believe me, but this is actually true. I literally only found out today that the song was called Dixie's Dinner.
Me
Not
too.
Dinah.
Well, I found out at a weekend. I thought it was
Yeah.
Dinah until this
So
weekend.
did I.
So did I.
So, well,
That's one
okay,
of those
so
things,
apparently,
isn't it? Is it? What's
No,
that? It's called a thing.
Mandela effect.
Yes, that's it. It's a Mandela effect.
Well, no, well, apparently on the American version, it's spelled as Dinah, misspelled.
Yeah.
But I'm certain that my CD had it as Dinah.
So am
I'm
I.
sure of it.
And that the words Diggs' dinner aren't in the song, so
Yeah.
it's hard
But he
to
talks
know.
about
isn't it?
lasagna, so I mean, it's,
Yeah, it's
it makes
obviously
sense,
about
right?
Diggs' dinner. Yeah. Why would it
Mm.
be about Diggs'
Makes-
diner?
Right. But I always thought it was Dinah. Me too. Until this
So did
weekend.
I. That's weird then, because I
And then
literally
I
this
checked
morning.
my record and it has dinner on there.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Let us know in the comments if you've had the same experience. But yeah, I always thought it was called Diggs' Diner.
And it sounds
today,
better
basically.
as Dinah, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
It's just
Diggs' dinner sounds silly, doesn't it?
That is the Mandela effect in full effect, isn't it? That's what it is.
Yeah.
We all thought the
Wow.
same thing.
Maybe one of us had the American version for some reason. And then it
But
got passed around.
I'm sure when we used to talk about university with our mates that we all used to call it Diggs' Diner. Sure of it. That's weird.
Yeah.
Best song about lasagna ever, isn't it?
Diggsy fucking hates the song. And he said he hates lasagna and he hates the song.
I hate the title of the song.
We only
The
just
real
found out what it
title.
was.
The real title, yeah.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too.
Should be called Diggs' Diner, shouldn't it? It's just a happy-go-lucky song, isn't it? It's really sort of carefree.
I
just,
don't like the
it's-
song at
I
all.
think it's all right. I
It's
like
just the worst one on the album. It really is. It's the
Oh, you say that? Do you both agree on that?
that's yeah. Dave.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
It just spoils the whole album.
Do you think it's one of those?
It doesn't spoil it, but it's a weak link. Yeah. Although back when I was young, these could be the best days of our lives. So I used to like that line.
I think it's all right. But then you follow that with Slide Away, which is probably my favourite Oasis
But
song.
hang on a minute.
Me too, man.
You keep going to the next song without,
Well, you've got every opportunity to pipe in. You just don't bother, and then I say it, and then you bring me back.
Well, yeah.
Come on,
yeah.
Dave. Pipe in.
Can't talk about
Pipe in.
Dixie's dinner.
I just wondered if there is another song with the lasagna in it.
Well, that was worth stopping me for.
Yes, it was. It totally was. That's a
Yes, it
legitimate
is.
question.
Because I don't think there is, but it's still not the best song with lasagna in it.
Even though there's not
If
another
there
one.
if there isn't
Yeah.
another one, then it is. Just by default.
But it's
do another
not.
song with lasagna.
No, by default, it is. If there's only one song with anything in it, it's the best one of that song. Like if the Lighthouse Family wrote a song, but it was the only one of that subject, that would be the best version of that subject matter.
Yeah, I understand your argument, but it's still wrong.
It's not.
There must be a song with Garfield in it that's also mentions lasagna because that was his favourite food.
Oh, was it?
I fucking hate Garfield.
Did you have a Garfield phone?
Bet he did. Bet he had a fucking Garfield
I didn't.
t-shirt.
Couldn't afford stuff like that.
Garfield
Fucking
I
phone.
had a
hate
Garfield
Garfield.
book.
Big, wasn't it, Garfield?
Yeah, it was fucking annoying.
Actually, I had a Garfield
Everywhere.
jumper.
Jumper?
You did.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
I love Garfield.
What do you mean a jumper? Like a woolly jumper?
No, it wasn't wool. It's just, some crap with
sweater.
a print on it.
What did
Yeah.
it say?
Yeah.
Can you remember what the slogan was?
No, it just had Garfield on it.
You little bastard.
Who
that
was
when you were
better,
really?
Just before. Who's better, Garfield or Alf?
You dirty bastard.
I didn't watch Alf.
Answer the question, motherfucker.
I can't. I'm not qualified because I didn't really watch Alf.
That's a very good comparison. It's similar.
I'm team
annoying.
Alf. I prefer Alf.
Can you remember what it stood for?
Alien life form.
But life form is one word, surely. So he should have just been Al.
Yeah. His friends called him that. You can call me it.
Right. So can we go on to the next one now?
Missed my Paul Simon joke.
I
You
didn't miss
didn't,
it.
mate. We all got it. It was good.
Oh,
You
thanks.
didn't even need to
Yeah, I ruined
Yeah.
it, didn't I?
make
Go
the
on,
second
go on.
comment.
It was acknowledged and we
apologise.
laughed. Yeah, so, yeah, Diggsy's Dinner or Diner or whatever it was, followed by Slide Away. But yeah, probably my favourite Oasis song.
Me too.
What of all?
Me too.
I think so. Oh, you agree? Luke agrees. That's
Yeah,
2
man, it's
out
my
of 3.
favourite Oasis song. Yeah. I think by far.
It'd be between that and Acquiesce for me. I do like
Me
Acquiesce.
too, man.
There you go.
It's probably common, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. Not for us. We don't usually like the same stuff, so that's quite.
That's true.
Weird.
We don't.
Mm.
For me, it's all about Liam, right? It's the kind of the ragged, raw emotion, and it all kind of reminds me of John Lennon's voice on Twist and Shout. It's just got that kind of raggedness
Right,
kind of to
yeah,
it. It's
yeah,
it's just got that pure kind of emotion coming through. It's
It's
great.
just a fucking brilliant song, though, isn't it? It just really.
It's a love song, isn't it?
Guess so.
Isn't it about his mum?
Is it?
I think so. About Peggy,
Well, their mum.
their mum. Yeah,
So it's a different kind of love song.
Yeah,
Still
man.
love, isn't it?
I hope.
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, it's- I think on that album, obviously you got Slide Away and Live Forever. Those two are just massive songs, aren't they?
Yeah,
Just sound huge.
yeah.
Did they release Slide Away as a single? I don't think they did.
No, they were going to, but Noel was like, "No, you can't have like 5 songs from your first album. That's taking the piss."
But yeah, nice. Dave, don't you like it then, Slide Away?
Yeah, it'd definitely be in my top 3. I think my top 1 is Supersonic on this album. But my
Why
favourite
didn't you
Oasis
fucking
song...
say when we got to Supersonic it was your favourite
Well, I
song?
thought we'd doing that at the
That
end.
was a sensible thing to say.
My favourite Oasis song is What's the Story, Morning Glory.
That's not on it.
It's a good song, though.
I just love that. That intro is just brilliant. One of the best intros to a song,
Right.
in my
Yeah.
humble opinion.
It's good. It's good.
Is that it about slide any more? Slide Away?
It just, it really reminds me of that the summer when that came out, basically, and we'd finished like school for the summer, and do you remember we used to drive over to Brighton to meet Amy, my sister? Well, we used to go and pick her up from work, and my brother-in-law used to drive over in his banged out
Yellow
car,
Peril.
the yellow
Peril.
Peril. So I used to drive over every Friday and just have that on
Fucking
full
brilliant.
volume, right? And go to the pub, the
What's
Thurlow
that pub
Arms,
called?
dodgiest
Thurlow Arms, that's it. Yeah,
fucking
that's
carpet on the walls and just horrible.
yeah, it's
place.
good though, wasn't it? That pub, we loved it.
Did and just reminds me of Slide Away, man. Just driving over there, sunny afternoon, just Friday. We knew we was gonna have a pint when we got there. It's just loved it. Always reminds me of Slide Away.
wasn't it?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's great.
Good
I
times.
still haven't
Good
passed my
times.
fucking driving test.
No, you haven't.
How many times have you taken it?
Oh, not many. 2.
I've been driving for like nearly 30 years.
I can't drive. No, one day
know.
I'll get there.
You can't even ride a bike. You fell off your bike the other week.
Have you passed your cycling proficiency test?
Oh, with flying colours. Yeah, got a new bike now. Actually, it's a good
Have
one.
you?
Did you write off your old one?
I sold it. Somehow someone bought it. I don't know why. At the end, it had a flat tire. The front tire was flat with a slow puncture, and it was totally fucked. And someone bought it.
Well, you bought a grifter.
No, I bought a Fuji. It's nice, man. It's cut my commute time by 1/3 just because it's so much faster than my old fucking rubbish.
Grifters were brilliant. They had 3 gears, red, yellow and green.
Right.
They were the 3
Instead
gears.
of 1, 2, and 3. Yeah.
Was red the brake?
No, it's one of the gears.
Was that just stop? The stop gear, it wouldn't go anywhere.
It's like a Rasta bike.
It was good, man. I like the grifter. Rounding the album off with Married with Children. A nice little ditty, isn't it?
Mm,
Dave's not impressed.
No, I mean it's all right, but it's a bit like Diggs' Dinner, isn't it? It's not up to the standards of the rest of the album.
I like that you've got this album, apart from Dixie's Dinner, I guess, you've got this album of out and out rock and roll, and then you just finish it off with that, where you can just really hear Liam's vocal.
It's the only track not recorded in a studio.
Is that
on the
right?
album. Yeah, it's recorded in someone's bedroom.
It's not a bad song. I don't hate the song. It's just a shame it's on the album.
I think Luke said it before about something about the Nirvana album, which is again another parallel to that. Finishing off an album with like a nice acoustic song is quite a nice way to go. I think quite like it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I like Married with Children. It's good. And you don't hear the word shite in songs very often, do you?
Not in a slow song, that's for sure.
It does rhyme with night, so it's useful.
Yes.
I'm sure that's why it's in there.
Otherwise, it'd be up all knit.
According to the documentary, according to Liam, Liam went up and Noel just sat upstairs and recorded it in the bedroom, and the rest of the band were downstairs.
What?
Yeah, in I think like the producer's house or something. I think the producer, what's the guy? I've forgotten his name. The second producer guy, Coyle, Mark. What was his name?
Yeah, I think so. Mark Coyle. Yeah.
And the rest of the band were downstairs playing Frustration.
Like, Dave would have loved that.
Very cerebral
game of frustration.
Have you got Frustration in your house, Dave?
Is that the one where you hit that ball thing?
Yeah.
Well, that's
It's a popper, isn't it? Like it pops the dice up.
There's no strategy or tactics whatsoever, isn't it? I guess you do have to decide which piece to move, I suppose.
But I think that the whole thing with that frustration game, that pop in you're just rolling some dice, aren't you? But it felt like you were doing something different.
Yeah.
It's just Ludo with that popping device.
Everyone had it though. They must have sold a shit ton, right? Everyone had it.
Right, so that's definitely maybe.
Hang on a minute, hold your horse.
God, here we go again. What have we done now?
We're Married with Children. Is there a meaning to that?
I think I read it. It was something about like people, like girlfriends.
Yeah.
Basically.
Just getting tired of a girl and wanting to break up with them.
Yeah, you know you're wrong, you say you're right and all that. Yeah.
Just that.
You got nothing in common.
Yeah, I think so. So that's it. I'm gonna say goodbye. Yeah.
So that's definitely maybe.
So we need to talk about the impact of it.
But I just thought the cover it's one of the best album covers ever, I think.
It's really cool, right?
Yeah.
It's in Bonehead's house.
But relaxed.
Is it Bonehead's house, is it?
Bonehead's front room. And apparently they're all told to like bring something.
Yeah.
So like the films are like Noel's favourite films.
Oh, really?
You got Manchester City footballer. You got George Best in another photo because I think Bonehead's a Man United supporter. But
Bacharach, yeah.
That's cool, isn't it? Yeah,
it's Noel's hero, isn't it?
And see this on the floor. What's in the glass? No.
Red wine.
No. What? Apparently, red wine, when you take a photo, it goes too dark, so it looks too black. So, replaced by
Ribena.
It's a glass of Ribena.
An interesting fact. But it's supposed to be a glass of wine, right?
Yeah.
That's a good fun fact, that. I like that.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
That would make sense, actually. You're right. Yeah, it would be dark. It'd be a little like, it would look like Coke.
So the carafe in the background has got Ribena in it.
More Ribena, I guess.
You just wanted to say carafe, didn't you?
Is that how you pronounce it? I've never known how to pronounce that.
I hope it's that. Otherwise, I'm going to look an idiot.
I've never known, man. One of the words you only ever read, isn't it?
Never had a carafe of wine.
Don't mind a little carafe.
Well, you have a carafe to yourself?
A small one, I'd have one, yeah.
Oh, you have tiny glasses over there, don't you?
Tiny everything. Tiny plates. Tiny knives and forks.
Do you have to buy a tiny bike?
No, I ordered the frame according to height. so yes.
You're supposed to give. You're supposed to. The frames on a male bike is supposed to be quite small to give a lot of clearance for your balls if you fall off your pedals.
Oh, right. There's not much room, to be honest.
But that's why girls' bikes are a different shape.
Isn't that just to preserve their modesty when getting on?
Well, I thought it's because if they fell off, they didn't hurt their,
But that shows the opposite because they haven't got balls.
No, but their bits are important for reproduction and stuff.
4 hours?
What do you think our balls are for?
Yeah, it would make more sense the other way around, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah, that's bullshit. Must be the modesty thing.
Yeah, so you can get on with a skirt on, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. Impact of Definitely Maybe.
None?
Well, it kicked off. Britpop kicked
Dave
off.
says
proper,
none.
basically.
Dave says no.
Oh, it's just a guess. I was just having a guess.
Fair. I mean, I think Britpop finally arrived, right? It kind of been threatening to. Like Park Live had been, I think it was released like 5 months before, Definitely Maybe. And of course it was big and everything, but it wasn't like it hadn't made it onto the terraces, right? It hadn't.
Yeah, you're right.
Like Definitely Maybe.
We should have done that album.
We'll get there. We'll do it.
If Oasis hadn't come along, bands like Suede maybe would have been bigger. I don't know.
I think they lifted the whole tide, man. If it weren't for Oasis, none of them would have had
maybe
as much commercial
Yeah, I guess
success.
that's the flip side to the argument.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, would we have got a Labour government?
Oh, that's an interesting.
That
one.
wouldn't.
Yeah,
make
I think we
any
would,
difference.
but
I don't know, man. New Labour were totally tied up in Britpop, right? It was a big part of their thing.
But I think Labour would have got in anyway. I'm not sure.
I think, yeah, I'm sure they were. But
They
I
would
think
have
it
just
helped, right?
jumped onto whatever bandwagon there was. If it wasn't Britpop, it would have been.
But they wouldn't. They wouldn't have jumped onto Suede's gender-bending, heroin-injecting bandwagon, would they? They jumped onto Oasis because it was for the people and it was positive and uplifting and joyous, right?
Dave thinks that Blair would have jumped on any fucking.
Of course he would.
He jumped on war,
Bastard.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I think it helped change the mood of the country, which is what helped propel,
I
Tony
agree.
Blair to power in '97. I think it helped turn that mood, made the country believe in itself again.
There was hope around that time, wasn't there? And Britain felt like a cool place to be in. It did. Feel.
Man. Cool Britannia.
Isn't that embarrassing now?
What have we got to be proud of at the moment? It's all a bit rubbish. But back then we did, we had some really cool stuff going on. I don't know. A lot of that's gone, I think.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it before, but it also led to, New Lad and Loaded magazine and all of that, right?
I think it went a bit far in the end, but I think in the early days it was quite tame and it was all right, It wasn't really offensive. It got misogynistic towards the end, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
So,
Totally. Yeah, but you said the word hope before. I think the hope is a big part of it. I think that's what they did. They did give hope to people like us, to everyone, right?
we were younger then. It might be the same for people now with the bands that they listen to, but I don't think it is. It wasn't just the bands, was it? It was the whole Britpop culture, the Spice Girls and all that stuff. Just more fun, wasn't it? It wasn't as
Yeah.
Things weren't as bleak. Things weren't as bleak as they are now. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a good time. Exactly. It was all hope.
But is that just because of our age, though? Is that just because we were young then?
No, I think
because
it was-
other
it was
people
the
were swept
time.
up in it too, man. Yeah.
It did seem like that. That the mid-90s university and stuff. Yeah, probably the best period of my life. Perfect years to go to university. We went, wasn't it? 95 to 98, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
still
we just got
free.
really lucky. Yeah, it's still free as well, yeah.
It was a time when everyone here, ordinary people, we thought we lived in the best part of the world. We were on the right
Yeah.
side of history. We had no doubt that was the case. But now,
Yeah.
fucking hell, there's no hope. We're not the good guys. It was
No.
all a load of bullshit.
And on that note, tune in next week.
But was Definitely Maybe directly responsible for?
I think, there was a dialectic going on. They were, influencing each other, right? They were kind of propelling each other forward, and it made a good time,
Luke, you say that's their only good record?
Yeah.
I'd say they only had 3. I like Beer Now, so there.
You're the only one.
I might be the only one. I don't mind that though. But yeah, anything after the Bonehead and Griggs.
Oh man, if they'd have followed their Britpop contemporaries and started getting into smack and heroin, they might have done something interesting. They insisted on sticking with cocaine and became the bloated cocaine stereotypes and made a terrible cocaine album.
I like
they should have followed
album.
Suede, man. They might have done something interesting.
But who knows? Maybe they'll be back with something good.
Okay, yeah, maybe, right? Maybe. So if if Shed 7 can do it and make probably the best album of their career, then
and Cast,
Cast
have just released a great album.
People say that. I haven't had a chance to listen to that yet. Okay,
I haven't really listened to it, but it's supposed to be really good. I don't know, but like I say, if Oasis reform, I want to see Giggsy and Bonehead back in it. I don't think I've even listened to the last Oasis album. I don't think I ever listened to it. I'm just not interested. That's it for this one. Hope you've enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments if this is the sort of thing you want to see more of, because we quite enjoyed doing this, and I think it's quite a good one to do. I quite like looking at albums and stuff. So if you want to see more of this or hear more of this, then let us know in the comments. Rate, review if you're listening. It really does help us out and people finding the podcast. Apologies that we haven't got any of the songs actually playing whilst we're doing the thing, but that's why Luke does the mixtape.
Yeah, I'm thinking this week I might put a bit of Oasis on it. Yeah.
Don't put Diggs's Diner on it.
Diggs's Diner. You know what? Liam refuses to sing it live because it's so shit. That's what he's always said in the past. So if he's doing it this year,
I might.
If he's doing like a thing, let's see if he plays it, because he's always said that he refuses to sing it because it's so rubbish.
Maybe he'll just skip that one. I'd quite like to go and see that. I wonder if Bonehead's playing, because he plays with him now, doesn't he? In his live
Does he?
incarnation. Yeah, I wonder if he'll do. I bet he will, actually.
We'll see.
That'd be quite good. Next week, we've got Kermit from Black Grape, which is a really good one. Went off on a few tangents, but it's a fun one to listen to for sure. So definitely tune into that one. Dave?
See you in a minute.